strongly believe will be the #1 cryptocurrency worldwide.
London's Wembley Arena, June 11, 2016. Lights flash across the stage. Fireballs explode. Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire blares through the speakers. A woman in a flowing burgundy ball gown walks onto the stage. The crowd of thousands goes wild. This is Dr. Ruja Ignatova, the self-proclaimed crypto queen. She raises her arms and the cheering gets louder. In 2 years, she tells the packed arena, nobody will speak about Bitcoin anymore. The audience explodes in applause. But this woman wasn't who she claimed to be. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching this from? Because Ruja's victims were everywhere. $4 billion stolen from over 3 million people across 175 countries. But this massive fraud, it started 2 years earlier, in 2014, when a brilliant Oxford graduate decided to create the world's biggest fake cryptocurrency. This is accused, and I'm here to expose the financial criminals who destroy people's lives. Thank you to everyone watching this video, and may your investments stay safe wherever you are in the world. Today, we're diving into a case that shook the entire crypto world to its core. This is the story that made millions of people lose trust in digital currencies forever. Hit subscribe right now because we expose the financial predators the media won't touch. We bring you the blockchain evidence they tried to hide, the FBI files they didn't release, the family secrets they buried. This is the story of how an Oxford PhD became the FBI's most wanted crypto criminal. The story of OneCoin, the $4 billion lie that fooled the world. Ruja Ignatova was born on May 30th, 1980, in Rus, Bulgaria. Her father Plamen was a mechanical engineer. Her mother Veska was a nursery school teacher. Her family was Romani. When she was 10 years old, her family moved to Germany after the fall of the Iron Curtain. They lived in a small apartment in Schramberg. Classmates described young Ruja as smart, driven, and distant. She spent her free time studying and playing chess. She was brilliant. She graduated from the University of Konstanz in Germany, then earned a master's degree in European law at Oxford University. After that, she got a PhD in private international law. Her dissertation was about conflict of laws. Big companies wanted her expertise. McKinsey & Company hired her as a consultant in their Sofia office. She advised major financial institutions. She worked on corporate banking projects, private equity deals, asset management. In 2012, she was even named Businesswoman of the Year in Bulgaria. But the crypto world had different rules. In 2014, Bitcoin was trading around $500. Most people still didn't understand cryptocurrency. Ruja saw an opportunity. She teamed up with a Swedish man named Sebastian Greenwood. Together, they had a plan to create something that would make them rich. They called their project OneCoin. But from day one, they knew it was fake. In private emails, they called it trashy coin. Greenwood even called their future investors idiots. By 2016, 3 million people had bought OneCoin packages worth billions of dollars. None of them knew they were buying nothing. 2014 was the year everything started. Bitcoin was trading around $500. Most people didn't understand cryptocurrency at all. Ruja and Sebastian saw their chance. They registered OneCoin Ltd in Bulgaria, but officially based it in Dubai. They also created One Life Network Limited and registered that in Belize. This wasn't about making a real cryptocurrency. This was about making money from people who wanted to get rich quick. The plan was brilliant in its simplicity. OneCoin claimed its main business was selling educational materials about cryptocurrency trading. But that was just a cover story. What they were really doing was running a pyramid scheme disguised as a crypto company. Here's how it worked. You couldn't just buy OneCoin directly like you could with Bitcoin. Instead, you had to buy educational packages. These packages cost anywhere from 100 euros all the way up to 118,000 euros. Some industry blogs reported packages costing as much as 225,500 euros. That's almost €250,000 for educational materials. The bigger the package you bought, the more tokens you received. These tokens were supposedly used to mine OneCoins on OneCoin's private servers. But here's the first red flag. Real cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are mined on decentralized networks that anyone can verify. OneCoin claimed they had mining servers in 2 locations in Bulgaria and 1 in Hong Kong. Nobody could verify this. Nobody could see the mining process. You just had to trust them. The educational materials themselves were a joke. Court documents later revealed that most of the content was plagiarized from free sources, including Wikipedia. People were paying thousands of euros for information they could get for free online. But the victims didn't care about the educational materials. At typical OneCoin recruitment meetings, the recruiters barely mentioned the educational content. They focused entirely on cryptocurrency investing and how much money people could make. By 2015, OneCoin was spreading like wildfire. They targeted people who had never heard of cryptocurrency before, people who didn't understand blockchain technology, people who just wanted to make money. The marketing was incredible. Ruja traveled to different countries holding massive events. She wore expensive ball gowns and designer jewelry. She spoke multiple languages fluently: Russian, German, English, Bulgarian. She looked successful. She sounded smart. People trusted her. The multi-level marketing system made everything worse. Not only could you make money by buying OneCoin packages, but you could also earn commissions by recruiting other people. Every time you brought someone new into the system, you got paid. This created a network effect where people were desperately trying to recruit their friends, their family members, even strangers. Everyone thought they were getting rich together, but the only people actually getting rich were Ruja, Sebastian, and the people at the very top of the pyramid. By 2016, OneCoin was operating in 175 countries. They had over 3 million investors worldwide. The company was bringing in billions of dollars, but there was one massive problem. OneCoin had no blockchain. Every real cryptocurrency has a blockchain. That's the basic technology that makes digital money possible. A blockchain is like a public ledger that records every single transaction. Anyone can look at Bitcoin's blockchain and verify that transactions are real. It's completely transparent. But OneCoin was different. OneCoin claimed to have a private blockchain. What does that mean? It means nobody could verify anything. You just had to trust the company. But even that was a lie. OneCoin didn't have any blockchain at all. Instead, they were using something called an SQL database. That's just basic computer software for storing information. It has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. They were literally making up fake coins on a spreadsheet and telling people those coins were worth money. Internal emails later revealed the truth. Sebastian Greenwood wrote to Ruja about their mining system. His exact words were, "We are not mining actually, but telling people shit." When Ruja asked how they could keep this secret, Sebastian replied, "How can this be investigated and found out? Can any member trying to be clever find out that we actually are not investing in machines to mine, but it is merely a piece of software doing this for us?"
These weren't accidents. These weren't mistakes. This was intentional fraud from day one. In their private emails, Ruja and Sebastian called OneCoin a trashy coin. They called their investors idiots and crazy. Sebastian even wrote to Konstantin Ignatov, Ruja's brother, saying, "These people are idiots." And Konstantin replied, "As you told me, the network would not work with intelligent people." The price of OneCoin was completely fake. Real cryptocurrencies get their value from supply and demand in the market. If more people want Bitcoin, the price goes up. If people want to sell, the price goes down. But OneCoin's price was set internally by the company. They started at 50 cents per coin and slowly increased the price to nearly 30 euros per coin. This made people think their investments were growing when actually nothing was happening. OneCoin also had its own internal exchange called XCoinX. This was supposedly where people could sell their OneCoins for real money, but there were problems from the start. First, you could only access the exchange if you had bought expensive packages. Second, There were daily limits on how much you could withdraw. Third, the company kept shutting down the exchange for maintenance. In March 2016, they closed XCoinX for 2 weeks, claiming it was due to high number of miners and better integration with blockchain. The exchange reopened briefly, then shut down again in January 2017. This time, it never reopened. People who had invested their life savings were trapped. They had OneCoins in their digital wallets, but no way to convert them to real money. The company kept making excuses. They said a new exchange was coming soon. They said they were preparing for an ICO that would put OneCoin on major cryptocurrency exchanges around the world. None of this ever happened.
Meanwhile, victims around the world were realizing they had been scammed. Some people had sold their houses to buy OneCoin packages. Retirement savings were gone. Children's college funds had been invested in fake cryptocurrency. One victim from Uganda named Daniel Leinhart sold 3 goats and his life savings just to buy a $250 OneCoin starter package. In developing countries, OneCoin promoters were targeting the poorest people, promising them financial freedom while stealing what little money they had. By 2016, investigators estimate that OneCoin had stolen over $4 billion from more than 3.5 million people worldwide. But the scam was about to get much bigger.
Question for you. You're at a cryptocurrency investment seminar. The speaker has a PhD from Oxford, worked at McKinsey, and promises guaranteed returns of 10 times your money within 2 years. She shows you testimonials from other investors who became millionaires. But when you ask to see the blockchain, she says it's private for security reasons. Do you invest your life savings, walk away and miss out on potential wealth, or demand to see technical proof before investing anything? The warnings started early, but most people ignored them. On September 30th, 2015, Bulgaria's Financial Supervision Commission issued an official warning about OneCoin. They said the company was operating an unregistered security, which meant investors wouldn't be protected if the scheme collapsed. This was huge. Bulgaria was OneCoin's home country, and their own financial regulators were warning people about the company. What happened next was telling. OneCoin immediately shut down all their activities in Bulgaria and started using foreign banks to handle money transfers. If the company was legitimate, why would they run away from their own country's regulators? Within days, Bulgarian OneCoin investor accounts went from over 700 to almost 0. Someone was panicking, but the warnings kept coming. In February 2016, the British newspaper The Daily Mirror wrote that OneCoin was a get-rich-quick scheme scam and a cult, calling it virtually worthless. In March 2016, Norway's Direct Selling Association compared OneCoin to a pyramid scheme and warned people to stay away. In December 2016, Hungary's central bank officially declared that OneCoin was a pyramid scheme.
Meanwhile, law enforcement agencies around the world were starting to pay attention. In China, several OneCoin members and investors were arrested, and authorities seized $30.8 million worth of assets. In Croatia, the national bank advised the public to exercise a high degree of caution with OneCoin investments. In India, police arrested 18 people in Mumbai for organizing a OneCoin recruitment event. They recovered $3.32 million from 9 bank accounts, but the most damaging blow came from an unexpected source. In late 2016, a Norwegian blockchain expert named Bjorn Bjerke received an interesting phone call. A Japanese recruitment agency called Ascensia contacted him about a high-level position at a cryptocurrency company. They offered him $2.5 million per year to become chief technology officer. The salary was incredible, but when Bjerke asked which company wanted to hire him, they told him it was OneCoin.
Bjerke was confused. OneCoin had been operating for over 2 years, claiming they had a revolutionary blockchain technology. Why would they need to hire someone to build a blockchain? During the phone conversation, Bjerke tried to explain concepts like decentralization and public ledgers to the OneCoin representative, The person on the other end of the call seemed confused by basic blockchain terminology. That's when Björka realized the truth. OneCoin had no blockchain at all. They were trying to hire him to create the technology they claimed to have had since 2014. Björka declined the job offer and went public with the story. He started posting on social media and giving interviews about OneCoin's fake technology. He explained that they were using an SQL database to create fake coins, not actual blockchain mining. This was the smoking gun that cryptocurrency experts had been looking for. OneCoin's lawyers immediately sent threatening letters to Björka, demanding that he stop talking about the company and remove his YouTube videos and articles. They threatened to sue him for economic damages, but Björka refused to back down. He hired his own lawyers and continued exposing the fraud. He later said, "OneCoin is like a cancer to the cryptocurrency community. I cannot give up. I cannot hide the truth. I cannot stay quiet about OneCoin being a scam." By early 2017, the pressure was mounting from all directions. Regulators in multiple countries were investigating. Law enforcement agencies were making arrests. Blockchain experts were exposing the technical lies. The crypto community was calling OneCoin a scam on social media. Major news outlets were starting to report on the fraud. But arrests of lower-level promoters couldn't stop what was coming for Ruja. The FBI was building a case. They were tracking money flows, analyzing the company structure, gathering evidence from victims around the world. International law enforcement agencies were coordinating their efforts. The net was closing around the crypto queen, and she knew it. Someone close to the investigation was feeding her information about what was coming next. Someone who would force her to make the biggest decision of her life. By mid-2017, Ruja knew her time was running out. The FBI was building a case against her, and she had inside information about what was coming. Someone was feeding her details about the investigation. Court documents later revealed that Ruja was receiving meeting notes and PowerPoint slideshows from Europol meetings where police forces were planning their moves against OneCoin. During this time, Ruja was having an affair with Gilbert Armenta, a man helping her launder OneCoin money. She became suspicious and hired a private investigator to spy on him. What she discovered changed everything. Armenta had been arrested and was working with authorities, wearing wires to their meetings and recording their conversations. On October 12, 2017, a federal grand jury issued a sealed indictment against Ruja. She was charged with wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. Each charge carried a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Somehow, she found out about the sealed indictment. On October 25, 2017, Ruja was scheduled to speak to OneCoin investors in Lisbon. Instead, she went to Sofia Airport and boarded Ryanair flight FR2593 to Athens. She traveled alone with minimal luggage and a German passport. During that 2-hour flight, she crossed from being a wealthy businesswoman to becoming an international fugitive. October 25, 2017, 3:30 p.m., Athens International Airport. Security footage shows Ruja walking quickly through arrivals. She moves with confidence, carries a small bag, and then vanishes. This is the last confirmed sighting of the crypto queen. 3 days later, the U.S. Department of Justice unsealed her indictment. The world learned that their beloved doctor, Ruja, was now a wanted criminal. On February 6, 2018, prosecutors issued additional charges. The evidence was overwhelming. Internal emails where she called OneCoin a trashy coin. Recordings planning to take the money and run. Financial records showing where billions went. The manhunt began immediately. Interpol issued a red notice. In May 2022, Europol added her to their most wanted list. In June 2022, the FBI took the extraordinary step of adding Ruja to their 10 most wanted fugitives list. She became only the 11th woman in history to achieve this distinction. The reward started at $100,000, increased to $250,000, and now stands at $5 million. But where is she? Some believe she's living on a yacht in international waters, beyond any country's jurisdiction. Others think she's hiding in a non-extradition country, using her stolen wealth to buy protection. The darkest theory comes from Bulgarian investigators. In February 2023, they published a report claiming Ruja was murdered in November 2018 by Bulgarian organized crime figure Taki Christoforos Amanatidis. According to the report, she was killed aboard a yacht in the Ionian Sea, her body dismembered and thrown overboard.
The FBI remains skeptical. They continue operating under the assumption she's alive, and the $5 million reward suggests they believe she can still be caught. While Ruja vanished, others faced consequences. On March 6, 2019, her brother Konstantin was arrested at Los Angeles International Airport. Unlike his sister, he chose to cooperate. He pleaded guilty and spent 34 months in prison before being released with a time-served verdict in March 2024. Sebastian Greenwood was arrested in Thailand in July 2018. He eventually pleaded guilty in December 2022 and was sentenced to 20 years in prison in September 2023. He was ordered to pay $300 million in restitution to victims. Lawyer Mark Scott was convicted of laundering $400 million for OneCoin. He received 10 years in prison in January 2024. Gilbert Armenta, Ruja's former boyfriend, got 5 years for laundering $300 million. Former compliance officer Irina Dilkinska received 4 years.
The impact on victims was devastating. Over 3.5 million people in 175 countries lost money to OneCoin. Many invested life savings or sold their homes. Recovery efforts have had limited success. The vast majority of the stolen $4 billion has never been recovered. The FBI's investigation remains active, but each passing year makes capture seem less likely. Whether she's living in luxury or dead at the bottom of the sea, Ruja Ignatova pulled off one of history's largest financial frauds and then vanished completely. 7 years later, the question remains: where is Ruja Ignatova? The FBI believes she's alive and continues the search. The $5 million reward shows they think she can still be caught. But the murder theory cannot be dismissed. Criminal networks that helped launder OneCoin money were ruthless organizations. Eliminating witnesses would be logical business sense. Whether alive or dead, Ruja achieved something remarkable in the criminal world. She stole $4 billion and disappeared completely. OneCoin serves as a cautionary tale about investment fraud and the power of charismatic criminals. It showed how cryptocurrency terminology could confuse victims, how multi-level marketing could spread fraud internationally, and how anyone can become a victim if circumstances are right. Thank you for watching Accused. If you found this story fascinating, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Tomorrow, we're investigating the cryptocurrency exchange that lost $3 billion in customer funds and claimed it was an accident. We'll show you blockchain evidence proving it was stolen by insiders. Until then, remember this. In cryptocurrency and digital finance, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Trust but verify. Do your research. Never invest money you can't afford to lose. The next Ruja Ignatova might already be planning their scheme.
Stay safe, stay suspicious, and remember OneCoin's victims. Over 3.5 million people who trusted the wrong person and lost everything because a brilliant criminal decided greed was more important than human suffering.